Hello everyone, my name is Daisy Hernandez, and I will be doing my research presentation over flooding in Texas. My main focus will surround the topic of contamination and air pollution due to floods in Houston, Texas. A major flooding that took place was after Hurricane Harvey in 2017. Due to major flooding from Hurricane Harvey, it caused a big issue with contamination. It also caused a lot of chemicals to be released into the air and sewage to be released into the water. Due to the severity of the amount of flooding that took place, around 136,000 homes and 68 facilities were affected and were damaged. It took many months to help clean up the damages and flooding, which caused some long-term exposures from the air pollution, contaminated water, debris, and mold. This map here just shows the amount of damaged properties within Harris County. Harris County is a huge county in Houston. The dark areas, so the black areas are the ones that were the most damaged areas. So black is about 1,500 to 2,000 damaged properties. So the darker the area, the more damaged properties there is. And I think that this map just is a good representation that just shows how damaging flooding can be. This next chart we have here just shows, it's actually from a study that researchers conducted in Harris County. They had around 347 unique participants. 1 month after Harvey and about 12 months after Harvey, they collected data from both times to see if any participants reported details on flood-related exposures and any health outcomes related to stress. So this chart right here is just basically explaining and shows the health outcomes related to stress. ADI stands for Area Deprivation Index. So high ADI is basically the areas within Harris County that are more advantaged, socioeconomically advantaged, versus the low ADI are socioeconomic disadvantaged areas, neighborhoods, communities. And 1 month after Harvey, low ADI shows indication of high stress levels. Red is a high indication of stress, so is orange, pink. Gray is not much indication of stress. And gray is in high ADI 1 month after Harvey, which basically indicates there wasn't much stress within that area. Now, low ADI in 12 months after Harvey is all red, which indicates there was really high levels of stress. There is red, orange, and pink in high ADI 12 months after Harvey, so that also indicates high levels of stress. This is another chart from that same study. This one just shows the data that was collected regarding allergy symptoms that were a cause due to flooding exposures. Basically the bigger the dot, and if it's red, orange, or pink, shows indications of levels of significance, irritations, or symptoms. We can look at that first column. It shows sinus irritation from mold in home. 1 month was gray, so not really any irritation indicated. But 12 months after, there was pretty significant levels indicated since it's red and the dot is pretty big. It's about 5.0 odds of ratio. And again, this just basically just shows, the health effects that can come about when it comes to flooding. All right, this next slide just shows some pictures from the flood within Houston, different areas of Houston. This first one is homes that were flooded in Addicks Reservoir, which are homes that are literally underwater, which shows right there how damaging flooding can be. This next one is a pool of leaked fuel and oil in Port Arthur, Texas. Due to the floods and the hurricane, it caused a leakage of fuel, which contaminated waters, which also can cause health issues. And this last one is a waste facility. Over 31.6 million gallons of raw sewage was spilled into Houston due to Hurricane Harvey. That, again, is another contamination issue that can cause severe health issues. All right, so my topic is one of the things that we learned about in class. Water pollutants is a main topic that we learned, especially when it comes to climate change and, clean water and, things like that. That's a huge topic. One of the main pollutants that we talk about in our chapters is chapter 11 is non-point source pollution. When it comes to flooding, non-point source pollution is pretty high and increased because you can't control what contaminants and pollutants are put into that water due to the floods. They do elevate levels of flooding does elevate levels of non-point source pollution and runoff. It's expected, and it's the unfortunate thing that happens when it comes to flooding. Toxic exposure is also another negative consequence of flooding. A lot of chemical facilities were affected due to the hurricane and flooding, which caused chemicals to be put into the air, and people were getting sick due to it. Current status of the issue. On a positive note, around 81.6% of respondents affected by Harvey have completely or mostly recovered from the effects of the storm, which is amazing. There still is a small portion of people that haven't recovered, unfortunately. Like some cities like Dickerson, Texas was hit really hard. This is a city that was not in the flood zone, so people that live there did not expect their homes to be affected or their communities to be affected with flood. So a lot of people did not have flood insurance, which also then goes into the next category, which is financial stress. When you don't have flood insurance, you're going to be filled with the burden of financial stress, which can put a huge effect on your mental health. From the studies that I've researched, mental health seems to be a long-term effect that people are still suffering from still to this day, 6 years later. There's been many projects in the works to help with infrastructures within Houston, but as of today, not many changes have occurred. What does the research tell us what our future will look like? Currently, studies show by 2045, Houston current land uses shows that runoff and non-point sources pollutants would worsen by 55%. Results also show that disadvantaged neighborhoods tend to experience flood at higher risk and are likely to face more public health problems from contaminant exposure compared to disadvantaged communities. This just goes back to the same chart that I discussed earlier. The disadvantaged communities are the ones that are affected the most. They don't have the best infrastructure when it comes to stormwater infrastructure or flooding infrastructure. Those are the areas that are affected a lot. And that's just the unfortunate. I think if we were to fix that, that would help a lot. Could we get involved? If so, how? So we all know Houston is one of the most flood-prone cities in the United States. It is a coastal city, so storms and hurricanes are bound to happen with it almost every year, right? The unfortunate thing is that Houston is a flat terrain. We can't really change the terrain itself. That would be a lot of work and a lot of money. What we can do is we can help with the stormwater infrastructure. If we can go ahead and fix the infrastructure within all parts of Houston, not just the advantaged areas, but also the disadvantaged areas, it could help everyone ultimately. I mean, the effects that came with Harvey should just indicate and allow the city to help everyone there because it was pretty bad. The two pictures I have on the right side just show the different types of infrastructures that may come about. The first one was a project that was created in around 2020 for Harris County. As of right now, they didn't move forward with this project, but it is in the works. And hopefully they'll come up with it soon so it could help because we just never know when a hurricane's going to hit again. And then the bottom one is a natural drainage system. When I lived in Houston, I've seen a lot of advantaged neighborhoods have these natural drainage systems, which is amazing. However, these disadvantaged communities and neighborhoods don't really have that. I think it would be really beneficial if Houston would create natural drainage systems throughout all of Houston, not just categorize it or select where they want to put it. I think it would benefit everyone if they put it everywhere. It won't prevent flooding, but it will help reduce the risk of flooding. I mean, any help they can get would help, you know? All right. And this is it. This is my reference slide. And overall, I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. I look forward to ending this semester, and I hope everybody has a great end of the semester. Good night.